Hello, my friend. From my home to yours, and can I just say from my busy home to yours, I cannot guarantee that somebody's not going to walk by as we are talking. I cannot guarantee you won't hear somebody who's working. We have construction workers here today. But you know what? It's Christmas, and we need to talk about Christmas in the middle of it all. Also, my dog might bark. He's prone to do that. That's what life is like at home these days, isn't it? Some years ago, I wrote a book called Because of Bethlehem. Because of Bethlehem. When I wrote this book, I recall reflecting on the busyness, the reality, just the honesty of Christmas. I mean, look what we do. We celebrate a baby at Christmas. You know, we people are prone to do odd things. Maybe you've asked yourself, why do we punch elevator buttons more than once? Why do we love the front seat of a bus and the back seat of a church? Why do we ask for instructions and then argue with the person who gave them? Of what purpose is a necktie? I've wondered that many times. Rational behavior is not one of our trademarks. But if you want to see people on the edge of insanity, you just watch the way families treat their babies at Christmas time. I mean, that poor child has no warning and no choice. He or she is just starting to recover from the slide down the birth canal when the family begins decorating him as if he were a puppy in the dog parade, red furry stocking cap with a white ball on the end. Just a baby. Those goofy elfish shoes that curl at the toes. I mean, when this baby becomes a teen and wears tight jeans that are torn and sports a tattoo, grown-ups will groan at the sight. But dress a 6-month-old in suspenders and reindeer antlers, now that's cute. We make such a fuss. Bring the baby into the room and everything stops. Everything changes. Grandma reaches up. Grandpa wakes up. Conversation shifts from politics and presidents to Pampers and pacifiers. This time of year, babies take center stage, and well they should. Well they should. Is not Christmas the story of a baby? Heaven's seed, enwombed in Mary, minuscule yet mighty, a fetus yet a force. God descends a birth canal, born creator, cradled in a Bethlehem barn, infinite. As an infant, God gurgles in mama's arms. A baby. This is the Christmas moment that shaped all the others that follow. On a starlit night, in the company of sheep, cattle, and a bewildered Joseph, Mary's eyes fell upon the face of her just-born son. And she was bone-weary, surely, in pain, likely, ready to place her head on the straw and sleep the rest of the night away, probably. But first, Mary had to see this face, his face, to wipe the moisture from his mouth and feel the shape of his chin, to be the first to whisper, "So this is what God looks like." People have always wondered. They've always wondered about the image of God. Societies have speculated and tribes have cogitated, and we've reached a variety of conclusions. God has been depicted as a golden calf, violent wind, angry volcano. He wears things, he breathes fire, he eats infants, he demands penance. We've fancied God as ferocious, magical, fickle, and maniacal. A God to be avoided, dreaded, appeased. But never, never in mankind's wildest imaginings did we consider that God would enter the world as an infant. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us, John wrote. The Word became not a whirlwind, not a devouring fire, but a single cell, a fertilized egg, an embryo, a baby, Placenta nourished him, and amniotic sac surrounded him. He grew to the size of a fist. His tiny heart divided into two chambers, and God became flesh. God entered our world, not like a human, but as a human. He endured what you and I endure: puberty, pimples, hot weather, and cranky neighbors. God became flesh. God became human down to his very toenails. He had suspended the stars. He had ladled out the seas, yet he suckled a breast and he slept in hay. And so the Christmas question is, why such a journey? Why did God go so far? A chief reason is this: He wants you to know that He gets you. He understands you. He understands how you feel, and He has faced what you've faced. Jesus is not out of touch with your reality. He's been through weakness. He's been through testing. He's experienced it all but the sin, the Scripture says. So let's walk right up to Him and receive what He is so ready to give. Take the mercy, accept the help. And since you know that He understands you, you can boldly go to Him. That's what the Hebrew writer says, and that's what Bethlehem offers. Because of Bethlehem, you can answer such fundamental questions like, does God care when I'm sad? Just look at the tear-streaked face of Jesus as He stands near Lazarus' tomb and find your answer. Does God notice when I'm afraid? Well, just note the resolve in His eyes as he marches through the storm to rescue His friends. Does God know if I'm ignored? Does He know if I'm rejected? Well, remember this. He shed tears too. He knows the burden of a broken heart. He knows the sorrow that this life can bring. He could have come as a shining light. He could have come as a voice in the clouds. But He came as a person. Does God understand you? Well, find your answer in Bethlehem. Gaze where Mary gazed. Look into God's face and be assured. If the King was willing to enter the world of animals and shepherds in swaddling clothes, don't you think He's willing to enter yours? He took on your face in the hope that you would see His. Because of Bethlehem, our world is different.